So the story begins.
Flying on a dragon to a land far away, meeting friendly Martians, watching unicorns that play.
Grandma's pictures. Alfie and Annie Rose had a grandma. She drove about here and there in her little red car, and she often came to visit them. Sometimes she brought presents, even when it wasn't anyone's birthday. Grandma could dance, and she could sing and tell stories. She and Alfie did a lot of cooking together. Grandma had a big book of pictures. There were photographs of everyone in the family. Alfie liked looking at them with her and asking who all the different people were. There was a picture of Grandma and Grandpa on their wedding day, and a picture of Mum when she was a little girl, and another when she was a big schoolgirl. And there was a picture of Mum and Dad at the seaside before they got married. There were some pictures of Alfie and Annie Rose too, when they were tiny babies. The one Alfie liked best was a picture of himself having a bath in the old baby bathtub. The oldest picture of the book was rather faded. It was of Grandma and her brother Will when they were children. That was a very long time ago. Alfie liked hearing Grandma tell him about what things were like then, about how they lived in the country and didn't have a car or a television set. Grandma and Will had to walk a long way to school every day, along a green lane with hedges on either side, full of wild flowers and blackberries. Grandma liked school, even though the teacher was very strict. Grandma's brother Will was older than she was, but he didn't like school one little bit. As they got nearer and nearer to school every morning, Will would walk more and more slowly. Often, Grandma said, she had to drag him along by the hand in case they were late. Sometimes they would arrive at school only just in time as the school bell stopped ringing. Will hated school so much that on one morning, do you know what he did? He took off his grey school trousers and threw them over the hedge. It was a very high hedge, so there was no hope of getting them back again. Then he walked on and up to school in his underpants. Of course, when the children saw him like that, and all the children giggling, she wouldn't let him come into the classroom. He had to stay in the boys' cloakroom all morning, and at dinner time she sent him home in a pair of borrowed trousers. They were much too big and had to be held up with braces. But Will didn't mind. He got what he wanted, which was the next day off school. You see, Grandma explained, he only had one pair of good trousers. Their mother wouldn't dream of letting him go to school in anything else, so she had to walk up to the lane herself and climb over a high gate into the field to rescue them. They were all dirty and covered with cowpat. The next day, their mother washed the trousers and hung them on the clothesline to dry, while Will stayed indoors and played with his new jigsaw puzzle. Does Will still live in the country and have no car or no television? Alfie wanted to know. Oh no, said Grandma. He grew up long ago and went off to live far away in Australia. Now he has a big car and a television, and he owns a store which sells men's and boys' clothing. Does he have trousers in his store? Asked Alfie. Oh yes, said Grandma. Many, many pairs.
And so the story begins.
Flying on a dragon.